Let's continue our lesson. We're throwing in a couple word problems. We're rounding to the nearest 10 or 100. Okay, here is our problem. Angeline walked 435 steps. What is this number rounded to the nearest 100? Let's read the problem one more time. Angeline walked 435 steps. I'm going to circle that. What is this number rounded to the nearest 100? Okay, so we're looking at the number 435. What is the hundreds place in this number, or where is that? Here's the ones, here's the tens, so the 4 is in the hundreds place. So that is where we're going to start our number line. We're going to start it at 400. What is the next 100 after 400? If we were counting by hundreds. Well, let's just count. 100, 200, 300, 400. 500 would be next. So that's our first step. We've got a number line. We've marked the 200s. 435 is between 400 and 500. Our next step is to find the halfway point between 400 and 500. Now here, again, we can use what we know to solve maybe what we don't know. If I know that 50 is the half of 100, and I know that because 50 cents is half of $1, and $1 is 100 cents, so 50 is the midpoint between 0 and 100, well, just like in our last problem, the span here is 100, and so if we add 50 to 400, we will get a halfway point of 450. So now we need to think of where 435 would go on this line. And why is that important? Well, anything 450 and above would round to 500. Anything below 450 would round to 400. That's why it's important. So where would it go? Well, if this is 400, this is 450. Let's count by tens. 400, this would be 410, 420, 430, 440, 450. I did notice that, did you notice I said 430? 410, 420, 430. 435 would be right about here. 410, 420, 430, 435. Okay, again, why is that important? Well, anything less than the midway point, less than 450, would round down to 400. So 435 rounded to the nearest 100 would be 400. Okay, that's the first one. That wasn't so bad. Let's try another one. Men shot 672 baskets. What is this number rounded to the nearest 100? Oh, we've got 200s in a row. That's all right. Let's go for it. So our number is 672. Let's see. 2 is in the ones place. 7 is in the tens place. 6 is in the hundreds place. So let's start our number line with 600. I'm going to do it just a bit neater than that. 600. And what would our next number be on the number line? We're counting by hundreds. What 600 plus 100 would be 700. If we were counting by hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. And then the next step is to find the halfway point. What number would be here? Well, we've already established that we just can add 50 because 50 is half of 100, and the span here is 100 units. So if we add 50 to 600, that's the halfway point. And it's 650. So anything 650 and above is going to round to 700. Anything below 650 would round down to 600. So where would 672 fall on this? Well, if here's 650, what's the next 10? 660, 670, 680, 690, 700. This is 672. So let's look at this again. 650, 660, 670. So 672 would be right about there. 671, 672, 673, and so forth. We don't need to count them all, and we just really need an approximation. 672 is right about there. Well, is that on this side of 650, or is it on this side of 650? Well, you can see it right here. It's on this side. So 672 would round to the nearest hundred. It would round to 700. Now, this isn't part of our problem, but I feel kind of bad for choosing both hundreds. Let's round this one to the nearest 10. What if the question was, men shot 672 baskets. What is this number rounded to the nearest 10? Well, we'd still start with 672. Our ones, our tens, our hundreds. So we're looking at that number right there. So we would start 670, and the next 10 after 670 would be 680. We do the same process. Find the halfway point, which would be 675. And then when we would ask ourselves, where would 672 go? We can look at the last couple numbers. If this one ends in a 70, the sixes are all the same. Everything starts with a 6. But if we look at 70, 75, 80, well, 72 would be close to the 70. It would be somewhere around here. 672. So it's definitely on this side because it's lower than 675. So we would round it down to, yes, you've guessed it, 670. So if we rounded this number to the nearest 10, our answer would be 670. All right, thank you for joining me.